Few aircraft have captured the imagination of aviation enthusiasts like the SR-71 Blackbird. With its sleek, otherworldly design, the Blackbird was a marvel of engineering, capable of speeds exceeding Mach 3 and altitudes of over 85,000 feet. It wasn't just an airplane, it was a symbol of technological dominance during the Cold War. Dubbed the Speed Demon, the SR-71 flew higher and faster than anything that had come before it, outpacing missiles and redefining what an aircraft could achieve. But what if the SR-71 had been more than a reconnaissance aircraft? Imagine if the Blackbird had been adapted into a fighter, a weaponized juggernaut capable of exploiting its unmatched speed and altitude to dominate the skies. Could it have been the ultimate aerial predator? Or would its limitations have overshadowed its potential? To answer these questions, we must first understand what made the SR-71 such a groundbreaking machine. The SR-71 was born out of necessity during the height of the Cold War. Developed in secrecy by Lockheed's Skunk Works under the leadership of the legendary Clarence Kelly Johnson, the Blackbird was designed for one primary purpose: reconnaissance. Its mission was to gather intelligence while avoiding detection and destruction by enemy defenses. To achieve this, the SR-71 was crafted with a revolutionary titanium airframe to withstand the extreme heat generated at Mach 3 speeds. Its engines, the Pratt & Whitney J-58s, were designed as ramjets at high velocities, allowing the Blackbird to sustain incredible speeds for long distances. The aircraft's radar signature was minimized through early stealth technologies, and its state-of-the-art camera systems captured unparalleled high-altitude imagery. However, these advancements came with trade-offs. The SR-71's design prioritized speed and range, sacrificing agility and the ability to carry substantial payloads. These characteristics made it an unparalleled reconnaissance platform, but raised significant questions about its potential as a fighter. What if the Blackbird had been armed and turned into a fighter? Its extraordinary speed and altitude would have made it a unique asset in aerial combat. Imagine an SR-71 streaking across the sky at Mach 3.2, equipped with advanced air-to-air missiles. The aircraft's ability to outrun almost any threat could have allowed it to employ hit-and-run tactics, using its velocity to evade retaliation. The element of surprise would have been another critical advantage. An enemy caught unprepared by a high-speed, high-altitude strike might struggle to respond effectively. In theory, the Blackbird could have launched missiles from the stratosphere and disappeared before the enemy knew what hit them. But while its speed and altitude provided significant benefits, these same characteristics posed challenges. Close-range combat, the hallmark of traditional dogfighting, would have been a nightmare for the SR-71. The aircraft's massive size and lack of agility made it ill-suited for quick maneuvers or sharp turns, key elements in a dogfight. Additionally, adapting the Blackbird to carry weapons would have required extensive modifications, potentially compromising its iconic speed and range. For all its strengths, the SR-71 would have faced significant hurdles as a fighter. One of its most glaring vulnerabilities was its reliance on speed and altitude for protection. At lower altitudes, the aircraft would have been exposed to enemy fire and missiles, unable to rely on its usual defensive strategies. Moreover, the SR-71's armament would likely have been limited. Unlike traditional fighters such as the F-15 or F-22, which carry a mix of missiles and guns, the Blackbird's design would have constrained its weapons load. Its primary role as a reconnaissance aircraft left little room for the hardpoints and internal bays needed for a robust arsenal. Adapting the Blackbird for air-to-air combat would have also presented technical challenges. Increasing its maneuverability, for example, would have required significant redesigns, potentially adding weight and reducing its speed key attributes that defined the aircraft's success. In essence, the very qualities that made the SR-71 a reconnaissance marvel would have limited its effectiveness as a fighter. To truly evaluate the SR-71's potential as a fighter, let's imagine a hypothetical engagement between the Blackbird and a modern fighter jet, such as the F-22 Raptor. In this scenario, the SR-71 would rely on its speed and altitude to launch a preemptive missile strike from long range. Its Mach 3 capability would allow it to approach the battlefield quickly and retreat just as fast. The F-22, however, would have the advantage in close-range combat. Its advanced radar, maneuverability, and weapon systems would give it the upper hand if it managed to close the distance. The outcome of such a duel would largely depend on strategy. If the SR-71 could leverage its strength, speed, altitude, and surprise, it might strike and escape before the F-22 could respond. But if the engagement devolved into a traditional dogfight, the Blackbird would be at a severe disadvantage, outmaneuvered and outgunned by the more versatile fighter. In the end, the SR-71 was never intended to be a fighter, and for good reason. While its speed and altitude made it an unparalleled reconnaissance platform, those same qualities limited its potential in air-to-air combat. The challenges of adapting the Blackbird for dogfighting, ranging from its lack of agility to its limited weapons capacity, highlight the trade-offs inherent in aircraft design. However, imagining the SR-71 as a fighter offers a fascinating glimpse into the possibilities of aerospace engineering. The Blackbird's enduring legacy lies not in its hypothetical combat capabilities, but in its role as a trailblazer, pushing the boundaries of what was thought possible in aviation. It inspired generations of engineers and pilots, paving the way for future innovations in both reconnaissance and combat aircraft. So while the SR-71 may not have been a fighter, its spirit lives on in the cutting-edge aircraft of today, and in the dreams of what might yet be achieved in the skies above.